Hello, everybody. Can everybody hear me now? Can everybody hear me? I'm getting feedback.
Yes.
You can hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting feedback. Hang on here. It's my tablet. You can hear me now? How's that? Better?
Better.
Okay. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Renee Live. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. Of course, Linda would know that even though Mercury retrograde ended today, correct, we still have a few more days to go before we are officially out of the energy of it, correct?
Not exactly.
I can't hear you. I don't know why I can't hear you.
Not exactly.
We are officially out of the energy. Oh, maybe if I do this. Try it again.
Not exactly. Not exactly.
I can't hear you. I don't know why I can't hear you.
Not exactly.
Are you there? Oh, maybe like this. Linda, can you hear me now?
Not exactly. Not exactly.
I can't hear you. I don't know why I can't hear you. Are you there? Yeah, we're in the shadow phase right now, definitely. So everybody, I'd like to welcome a soul sister of mine. Her name is Linda Johnston. She's known as the Astrology Witch, and she's absolutely amazing. I love her completely, and I'm glad she came on tonight. So everybody, I'd like to welcome a soul sister of mine. Her name is Linda Johnston. Why is that echoing back? And I hear it coming from your computer. I love her completely, and same thing, Linda. Tonight. So everybody, I'd like to welcome. We've got a lag tonight. And I hear it coming from your computer. I love her completely, and same thing, Linda. Tonight. So everybody, I'd like to welcome. We've got a lag tonight.
I can't hear you.
Can everybody hear me? Can everybody else hear me?
I can't hear you. Let me see. Maybe I can hear you now.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. All right.
Welcome, welcome, Linda.
I'm sorry. And to answer your question, in modern astrology, yes, we are out of Mercury retrograde, but in ancient astrology, it's still here between about the 10th and the 14th, the after shadows of it. So there's still that energy there.
Well, we're going to prevail tonight because I'm not going to let Mercury retrograde ruin this. We have a lot to talk about. I mean, we were mentioning earlier about the energy out there. I mean, how crazy has it been? I've had to turn down 2 cases this week. 2 cases this week, like back to back. Because
I knew back in January when this dragon's energy shifted that it was going to be deadly. As an astrologer, an ancient astrologer, out of all the north and south node placements, because that's what the dragon is, the north and the south node, I fear this one the most because think of the positiveness of Scorpio. Scorpio in its positive state is the investigator, the natural born witch that does good, the eagle of the zodiac. Scorpio in its negative is the lizard. This is where death, drama, chaos, please remember this rules the witchcraft world, and I'm observing it from the sidelines on TikTok with witches going after other witches, cursing and casting on each other for no damn reason. I mean, there are people in this world that shouldn't be taught magic. Okay.
Yeah,
So
well,
I'm seeing it in that world, but I'm also seeing it in the underworld. I'm seeing, Scorpio rules. Think about what Scorpio rules, the reproductive system. What are we battling? What are women battling right now? Their reproductive rights.
mhm.
Makes perfect sense. This energy is coming in. It rules the underworld. And so, my paranormal investigators, you guys, if you're a novice in this profession, uh, you go with people that know what they're doing, or you don't go at all, because it'll be the ones with the experience that will have to deal with the malevolent energy that is about.
Well, that's the whole thing right now. I've had two cases presented to me this week, and I asked one team not to even go because they're not even in the area. And usually I would project in. I would do a soul projection in and help them out on their cases that are pretty hard. But I'm like, this one, I couldn't even leave body to go into, go down to Memphis. I couldn't even do it. And
Energy is
even if I wanted to, but I told them, don't even go. Don't even bother going. And they did because they felt that that it would have been okay. And it wasn't.
right.
They found out it wasn't. And I told them right then and there, get out now and don't go back,
Hmm.
And then there was another one that came in just yesterday. Another one came in. I got home from work and another message, and this one was out in Indiana. And I said, I'm not touching it. I'm not going to touch anything that's malevolent or demonic or anything like that. And, the energy within the atmosphere alone that surrounds us every day is causing agitation. It's causing anxiety for people. It's causing even worse depression. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Oppressive energy. And that's because I feel because everybody's so negative and they're bickering back and forth about who's right, who's wrong, who's better, who's not, instead of working together, that this energy has manifested. We have brought this energy in.
Well, yeah, yes, that is very true. One thing I will tell you about this energy is it will expose you. Whatever lies you're hiding, it will expose you. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how elitist you are. You're going to get exposed. And usually with this energy, the poor, not, I wouldn't say the poor become richer, but the poor will benefit. We're not even into the zenith of this energy yet. Like I said, this dragon shifted back on January 18th, 2022. It's here to stay until July 18th, 2023. We're not even at the zenith of this energy. So Scorpio is what's in control right now. The
Right.
negative Scorpio energy. Taurus, on the other hand, is the dragon's head. That's a slower moving sign. So Taurus takes its sweet damn time, and it's going to move when it wants to. But I'd say by September of this year, you're going to see significant changes within how we do banking. I'm already seeing it where there's Bitcoin machines. Um, there's going to be a whole new change on how we bank. And I know there's a lot of conspiracies with the New World Order. It will be Bitcoin that will be the global currency for the world. It's already happening. You could
That's what
see it.
China uses, correct?
Pardon me?
Is that what China uses?
Not yet. No, in fact, China, I'm really involved in crypto, so I know this. China is uh, creating their own currency. It's a crypto based on I don't know what China banks with. Um, Chinese dollar. I almost said the yen, but that's Japan. Um, they're working on their own currency, and I foresee that currency getting very, very strong when the next dragon goes into effect when it's in Aries, because that rules red China.
See, and this is what right now their new currency is being utilized in Canada. It's being utilized. All their businesses have to utilize this new Chinese currency, their cryptocurrency or whatever. They're not allowed to do their business transactions or whatever with regular cash or anything anymore. So
that I don't know a whole lot about China because I don't, do any banking with them or anything like that. I mean, my cryptocurrency that I'm involved in, a lot of it is on a hard wallet, which is my personal savings account.
mm-hmm.
And I'm not a millionaire, trust me. It's pennies, peanuts compared to what some people have. But Asia in general will be the dominant come 2025 within this industry. We have taken so long to get on board, but you're noticing changes already where the banking industry is preparing you. Oh God, what was that company called? There's a Fidelity Investment. They have sent newsletters out to all of their clients, letting them know that as of September 19th of this year, all of their money that they're investing is going to be switched into Bitcoin. So it's happening. I've been on other radio shows where people have told me, nah, that's not going to happen. I'm only seeing what the stars are reading. I'm not
Right.
saying this for shits and giggles. I don't know how else to put it. I'm not saying it for any other reason, but I'm seeing it in the stars. It's the shift in how, I think by the end of this event here, with this dragon, Taurus, and Scorpio, I would say by the end of next summer of next year, the American dollar can possibly be dead.
Yeah.
Or shifted into a different currency. That's why we are dealing with this inflation. Gold is on the rise, silver is on the rise, precious metals are on the rise, but the American dollar is dropping and dropping and dropping.
Well, because you keep printing a lot of money that we don't have.
Yeah.
So the value has gone down.
And the Federal Reserve is very frightened of Bitcoin. They're petrified of it because they don't have control of it yet. Key word there. Yet. So
see, I can't get into it. I don't get into it. My daughter does. My oldest does, but I haven't even looked at it. I'm like, I don't even want to deal with it. It's like putting a computer or a cell phone, just not a flip top in front of an 80-year-old and saying, "Here you go." Because I don't even want to know it right now. I don't even want to know it. I just want to take one day at a time. And
I don't blame you.
There's a lot of people that are getting into it, like you are, and gaining a lot of money and stuff like that, and that's great. I just don't want to know it right now.
Here's the key, though. You have to have money to make money. Okay, when I make money, I'm talking, I invested $20 and I made $200. Woohoo! Happy day. Yeah. And there are people out there that invest $2 million and make $200 million. The little guy, even in the crypto market, doesn't have too much of a chance unless you've gotten in early on. And for myself, I've been doing this since 2017, kind of dabbling in it here and there. So,
and can you use that? Linda, can you use that now, like in stores and stuff?
I actually have a Coinbase credit card, and what I can do is, like, when I have a direct deposit, I can take like $200 and transfer it onto my Coinbase credit card. It's not like I'm racking up credit. It's my money. And in the process of making purchases, I actually earn more Bitcoin. So
so right now, it's not that you're spending the Bitcoin, you're spending your own cash on this.
I'm spending my own cash, but I am also at every purchase. Actually, I'm not even using Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a currency. I'm actually when I use my Coinbase credit card, I'm getting 4% back in a crypto called the Graph, which is going to make money in about 2 years. They're going to come out with a whole new way to do internet. It's called Web3.
Yeah.
So cryptos that are involved in that will make money on things. And then right now it's at like 16 cents a share. So those are the kind that I buy. I keep it under $1. I mean, if you're a conservative investor like myself, which I am, it's like buying a lottery ticket. I throw in $20 every month, but you only spend what you can afford to lose.
Okay.
And in this day and age, we can't afford to lose much.
No, not with everything. I mean, my father was
Oh, yeah.
telling my niece as well. It's good that they took like 10 cents off the tax for gas. I said, really? I only saw it go down 4 cents.
I didn't
Gas
even
went
notice
down
it
today.
here.
It went down today 4 cents, but that's it. He goes, well, it's going to be until November. Go figure.
Well, here, let me just tell you this, okay? Here's some statistics of corporations like Shell and Exxon. Their first quarter from January 1st, 2022 to March 31st of this year, Shell brought in 9.1 billion. That's just one quarter. There's 3 more quarters to go. Exxon brought in 5.48 billion in one quarter. So it's these corporations in a lot of ways that are sticking it to the working class people. And people forget the working class, we're all independent, Democratic, Republican. We're all in that lot, but yet we fight amongst each other.
And I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Oh, God.
We have, from what I hear, and not from people, from what I hear from the other side and stuff, we're in for a mess. And
We're in
people,
what?
we're in for a mess. Things are going to get rough.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, I know you want people to get together and to solve this problem and forget their differences. And they're like, it's not going to happen.
No.
And that's what I'm hearing. It's not going to happen. So, we're going to be in for a real mess.
If I'm going to be blunt on what I'm going to say right now. The United States doesn't get its shit together, pardon my French, by this next election, and we're going to talk about that too, because November 8th, we have a lunar eclipse on election day. That is a death and a rebirth of something. But if this nation doesn't get its shit together before this next dragon comes into effect, China's going to own our ass, because a divided nation is an easily conquered nation, and already starting coming in, buying real estate, investing in companies and corporations. They've already got their foot in the door, and they've had their foot in the door for quite some time. So
they bought up a lot of local farmland. They're buying up farmland all over.
So it's going to be
a lot of the farmers are telling them to get lost.
I know.
And that started when it's been going on, but they really hit the market when COVID hit.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, my understanding is they are on lockdown in Shanghai. I was looking at, a friend of mine sent me this thing on Google Earth. And he was saying, if you go to Google Earth, there's container ships, and you can see them even in Japan. They can see them lining up on the Japanese Sea. They can't get into Shanghai to unload because they're in lockdown. And I'm hoping that doesn't come here, but I had said that unfortunately, COVID's here to stay. It's not something that's ever going to fully go away, but there could be another outbreak here too. We're not immune to it.
Well, this monkeypox, do you remember about a month and a half, 2 months ago in Pennsylvania, there was a truck with animals in the back, and they said it was cats. And when a woman went to go help and she opened the back, it wasn't cats, it was monkeys.
And she got bit, didn't she?
She got bit. 4 of them got out. They said 4 of them got out, and we killed all 3 of them. We killed all 3 of them, but 4 of them got out, but we killed all 3 of them. I remember this. I don't forget much.
So there's one.
Where were those monkeys headed? Right here, 5 miles from me at that, Cornell University, because they had smallpox. They came from Africa. Not conspiracy theory, people. Look it up. Now we have monkeypox.
Yeah, that's.
And yeah, and she got very sick. She got very sick, but everything went about her.
Did she die?
I don't believe so, but everything went quiet. Once I got out that she got sick from the bite.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
it wasn't cats, it was monkeys. Yeah, they lied to her. They were being transported to be put in isolation up at Cornell.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of scary. Cornell's is it a medical research center?
Cornell is research everything. Cornell's researching COVID. Cornell is researching anything they research and they create. Cornell is like the cream of the crop here in the United States and gets away with a lot.
I see.
Hi to everybody in the chat room. Thank you for listening and watching. So, Linda, let's talk about this. We have a few things that we wanted to really discuss. So what are you seeing for November? And then we'll get into the paranormal part later.
All right. Well, before I get into the election day, let me talk about Pluto and Capricorn and what that represents, because it's in its final breath. Pluto has been in Capricorn since November 26th of 2008. We call this the generation planet. And it stays until March 23rd, 2023. Now, Capricorn rules politics, conservatism, and Pluto is about life, death, rebirth, transformation. With Pluto in its final breath in Capricorn, this is like the final hold that our government's trying to hold on us fortunately, in a conservative way. You could see it right now with the Roe versus Wade issue, which didn't surprise me. Like I said, Scorpio rules the reproductive system. Makes perfect sense. And it's a female feminine sign. It makes perfect sense in correlation with the stars. But Pluto's moving on March 23rd into radical, rebellious, progressive Aquarius. And then there's 15 years of that, where that stays until, what did I write here? 2038? No, yeah, 2038. Pluto's in Aquarius. This is the last planet in an Earth sign for quite some time. Right now, there's only one planet, which is Pluto in an Earth sign. But we have to remember back on February 20th, between the modern astrology said the 22nd, my computer said the 20th, so I give it a window. Between February 20th and February 22nd, the United States itself had its very first Pluto return. Now, none of us ever get to see that in our lifetime because we never live 250 years. No one ever sees their Pluto return. But the United States is experiencing it. We are a young nation. We're not even 1,000 years old. Other countries have experienced their Pluto return through history and major things that have happened to them. England and Roman times, this and that. But first year of this Pluto return is going to be hard on the American people. But once Pluto goes into Aquarius, please remember Aquarius in its positive in its negative, it's rebellion, it's radical things, but in its positive, it's unity, it's humanitarianism, and it's brotherly love. I'm hoping there's a more kinder, gentler atmosphere, but that's with a year from now.
Mhm.
First year of our Pluto return in the Americas is going to be hard on us as a nation. You can see it in the news and what's happening. You could see it with these mass shootings. Like when I had said this is the dragon I feared the most, it was because of these shootings, especially in the schools. Remember, the United States is a Cancer nation, and its fifth house is Scorpio, and the tail is sitting on our American children. Baby formula shortages, hunting for our American children, our children not being able to go to school without being gunned down. Um, August is going to be a sobering month, and that just might be what brings us together, because I think what we're going to discover come August, when we find out that our politicians, our clergy, and even our police department are involved in sex trafficking and deeply involved. It's a $1 billion operation, and it is a war on our babies.
Correct.
That is going to get exposed. If not in August, by November of this year, the shit's going to hit the fan. Now, getting into the election, there's a lunar eclipse that day in Taurus. So, lunar eclipse, I've always been taught that it is a death and a rebirth of something. Okay, now I only looked at that date a little bit today. I didn't spend a deep amount of time, but you also have a stellium in Scorpio that night, which is in Scorpio Sun, Scorpio in Venus, and Scorpio in Mercury. Now, throw in, you got the moon conjuncting Uranus that day, which is going to represent people's personal freedoms. But you also have the sun conjuncting Mercury that day, creating strong opinions from both sides of the party.
Go figure right there already.
Then the sun is opposing the moon that very same day. I have to go and check and see what time. I didn't mark a time. But then this creates conflict between two sides. Personally, I think, and I told my Patreon followers this, I'm not taking civil war off the table. I think civil war will start right after this election. Whichever party's not happy, there's going to be some sort of an uprising. I hope I'm wrong, but
No, you're not.
People were mad at me on TikTok because I said, whether you love him or hate him, Johnny Depp's going to win. He's operating on a lucky dragon day. People came at me. You support drug addicts. I know. I don't. I'm just reading his stars.
I did not. I so did not even pay attention to that trial. I mean, I looked and laughed at the memes and stuff, but I was like, talk about a soap opera, talk about drama, talk about low vibrational energy, talk about pulling people off, diverting people from paying attention to what's really going on around them.
Well, I found out something very interesting that happened while that debacle was going on.
Oh, really? Please do share.
You can Google this. Anyone listening to you, please feel free to Google this. If you go in and you Google SBC scandal, and I found it on Vice World News, I found it on USA Today, I found it on NPR, I found it on a couple of more independent news slots. There are a bunch of pastors being brought up on sex scandal violations for molesting their young girls and boys in Sunday school. There's a whole, if you Google this, you'll find it. Okay. So if you Google SBC, Southern Baptist Church scandal, that was all happening during the Johnny Depp trial. Did you hear anything? I didn't.
There is so much more going on. Things the bills that are getting passed and stuff that people are just, because they're so hooked on Johnny Depp, They are professional actors. They are professional actors. They are paid good
Who?
money. This was
Who?
an
Johnny Depp?
intentional. Yeah.
Well, he's a professional. Well, he is. Yes.
What courtroom can you go into, Linda? Seriously, think about this and sit there and be a defendant or the plaintiff, whatever, and sit there and crack jokes and act like that. I don't know of a courtroom that you can act like that in.
I didn't follow the trial. Like I said, I only started watching it about 48 to 24 hours before the verdict came in.
I see
Um,
the little clips that people post.
oh, yeah, I was seeing that on YouTube. Mostly it was from like Fox News had it, and some other news outlets had little clips. But I didn't really follow it that much because I didn't feel I should have to give in to the system. Why should I
Mhm.
follow it? Why should I
Yeah.
boost its ratings? And I've been busy with readings, and I just didn't have time for that. But
See,
I did get a
I
lot of
didn't
people
take the time.
asking.
I did not watch the trial. I would watch little clippings
No,
on the news like you. You know,
yeah,
and what's really interesting is all this stuff that, they're using to divert us. Do you know these other countries know what they're doing? And they're like I have friends in Australia, and they're like, Renee, when are the people going to wake up in America? When are they going to wake up? Do you know this, and this just went through this week, and everybody's hooked on the trial, and all this stuff just went through right underneath their noses, and they're going to be sorry that they're not paying attention. And she's like, it's all in our news. So, and I don't watch American news. I do not watch it anymore. I haven't in a
blame
long
you.
time. I watch British, I watch um, Australian news. Sometimes I watch Canadian news because, well, they like to expose what's going on in the US and hide what's going on over in Canada, right? So
Right.
you
Well,
watch these other countries and
it's true. I watch Vice World News because
Mhm.
I mean, there's things they report about that I don't think anybody realizes what's going on. They like
Mhm.
right there involved. So it's the media is a big business, and it's created to control. It doesn't matter what party or what side, it's there to control,
I got rid of
unfortunately.
TV. I got rid of cable a little over 6 years ago.
Oh,
It was
I
the
have Roku.
best thing I ever did for my household.
I don't blame you. It's a waste of money.
It, wa-
I mean, I half the stuff I don't even watch.
I have apps and I barely watch them. I have them. The
I
kids watch them. The kids watch them, but I barely watch the apps. I'll watch some of them. But I don't typically sit and watch TV. I've got too many other things to do, and it's brainwashing. Once in a while, I'll you know uh watch something on Netflix and watch a couple of seasons of it, right? Or watch a movie. I'm more
Right.
into the movies than I am anything. But
I do Netflix. My kids and I are hooked right now. Nobody tell me what's happening with Stranger Things. That's the one I watch, but I haven't followed it yet. I haven't watched the new season. But right now we're doing Umbrella Academy. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
mm-mm.
Um, oh my gosh, it's great. It's about a bunch of kids who have superpowers, and they're raised by a billionaire who's kind of mean and unloving, but they have superpowers and they have to stop the end of the world. So really cool. I like it. It's very cool.
Nice. I do a lot of reading.
I do too. I'm constantly reading, or I'm taking classes here and there, um, things like that. But I have my favorite shows, but I don't sit and watch TV day in and day out. I just don't have the time.
It's boring. It's all the same thing, just different people.
Yeah, it gets a little monotonous. And
Yeah, I would rather listen to the radio. I listen
now
to
that
my
I
Sirius.
love.
I listen to Sirius XM, and I'm thinking
That's
about bringing the station back. By the way,
no diversity. Well, there you go. Good for
yeah,
you.
it's going to happen. I just haven't um gotten into it yet,
Well,
but it is
good.
going to happen. So get these indie artists out there more.
There you go.
It'll be
Underground
under
music.
a different name, though.
It'll be what?
It'll be under a different name, though.
There you
Because it was
go.
too long. It was just too long. So,
Change is good too. I
yeah.
mean, even like for myself, someone was telling me the other day, if you need to start, I need to LLC my business. And so I'm thinking, well, I'm going to change the name. That'll give me an opportunity to change the name to something different
Mm-hmm.
because change is good, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And
It is.
it's just,
So Linda, you were talking about you see possible civil war starting
yeah, I
after
see
Election Day.
violence after not maybe not immediately after election day, but within a week of those votes being tallied and counted, I do foresee some sort of violence. If you give me 1 second, I want to look at something in my moon book here.
Now, did you watch 2000 Mules,
What's that? No,
the movie about the documentary about election fraud?
no, I didn't. Mm-mm.
Did the stars come up with anything about election fraud? Did they? Um,
Actually, no. There was no election fraud. From what I looked at in the stars, I did not see election fraud, and even with several other, you know, the judicial court. Every time I kept looking, I would keep getting the justice card upright, meaning that if it was in reverse, it would have been a fraud. But that justice card kept coming up and coming up and coming up. So no, contrary to what everyone wants to believe, um, there was no election fraud. Um, I have even seen Trump in stating and saying that I've heard that word civil war come out of his mouth on his texts and his posts. So he is invoking it. He's a great businessman. If he was to tell me, Linda, buy this crypto or buy this stock, I literally would listen to him. He's
mhm,
got a gift for that. But underneath all those layers, his wife is smarter than him. He's lucky, but he's not smart. Now his wife, she doesn't say much. She's smarter than he is 100
mhm,
times. She's got him by the cojones. She's got him right by the balls right now. She is a very much a shrewd businesswoman, whether it was
mhm,
taught by him. But I'm I said something to my Patreons about this. I'm worried about his health right now with all the stress we're talking about Trump now, with all the stress he's dealing with court issues and this and that. And that dragon is sitting right on his sixth house. That's the house of health. Um, we may not hear about it right away, but I do think this is going to affect his health in some ways if it hasn't already. That's not what I'm wishing for, and anyone that does wish that is a shitty human being.
mhm.
But
Exactly.
uh,
Yeah, you don't wish ill on anybody because
no,
when you do, it goes out to the universe and it just comes back to you or one of your loved ones, plain and
exactly,
simple, tenfold.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and this is what I try and tell younger witches. Remember what you cast out. I mean, yes, there are certain times you do spell work that's justified to someone, but you don't sit there and just keep doing stuff just to do it. Oh, let's see if this works. Well, human beings aren't your magical guinea pigs.
Right?
Jesus. you know.
And that's it. I mean, you want to talk about that, and then I take a look at the paranormal and see all these people dabbling, and not even the paranormal investigators, just regular people, and they're bringing crap into their homes that they're like, oh God, what did I do? Well, you've opened a portal and you brought something in you shouldn't have because you dabbled. You had no clue.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
And then they
Um,
call me to clean it up, and I'm not cleaning up anything like that. I can't. I'm not risking myself or my family or my close friends. I'm not doing that. I have, you know,
what people don't realize is that Angels are real, but so are demons. You can't have one without the other. They're very real. Both.
The balance.
Yeah. Um, However, when you work with demons, you owe them something in return, whether that's your mind, your body, your soul, something. Um, I don't think people in the magical world understand that yet. Or I don't know. They just, you got to be educated. And if you're not educated, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. And yes, you can open portals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that some of you don't know how to close. You know, I was talking to someone the other day and said they were working with the Ouija board, and just the spirit didn't ever seem to have left. I go, well, you left a portal open. You didn't say goodbye. You didn't. She goes, I did the salt. I go, but what did you do with the salt? She goes, I just threw it on my doorstep. I'm like, honey, no. Your salt has to make a complete circle around in order for you to have that protection. Dabbing it on your windowsills or on your doorstep or on this or on that isn't going to protect you. Complete circle. That's just the beginning. There's so much more to it. But yeah, let me talk about the paranormal for a minute. So
Okay.
for election day, please remember that the stars are set in place. However, man can change the course of how those stars play out. We have the power within our own mind and our subconscious to steer the stars in any way we choose. These are just kind of a blueprint of what are possibilities. They're not set in stone. I'm hoping there's no civil war, but with the way this world's going and the violence and the hatred, it's just, I'm at a point in my life where I just want to hang out in my house, in my backyard, and not go anywhere.
My intuition, my ability's been spot on, point blank, to the point. Things that I'm figuring out and finding out and hearing, it amazes me. Things that are being uncovered. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there's no bullshitting.
I know. I agree. Um, Looking at my notes here. Hold on. I will tell you this. The United States itself, like I said, it's a Cancer nation, and it's natally born and erected with a dragon's head sitting in Leo and the tail in Aquarius. Now, that tail in Aquarius sits on the United States' eighth house. Okay, it's the house of life, death, rebirth, transformation. But Aquarius rules UFOs. It rules disclosure. Um, I don't really know quite how to say this. There's a lot of stuff our government, and this goes way back to the Eisenhower years. Okay, way back then, where um, how do you think we've gotten all this technology? Because we are invested in it. We've made contracts with certain extraterrestrials. They may not be the most benevolent ones. In fact, some of them might even be malevolent in some ways. But we've made our government, our secret governments, made these deals. I mean, anyone who says, "Oh, there's no such thing as a secret government," is an idiot, because that is so not true. There's definitely a secret government,
Mm-hmm.
but our country itself has by its own stars has kept this stuff secret, and has you let those aliens use regular human beings. I mean, why do some people get abducted and it's a horrible experience, and when other people get abducted, it's more like a contactee experience? Certain people are prone by the stars to resonate with those extraterrestrials. Some are sent here to help us.
Mm-hmm.
Just as above, so below. So there's a war going on here with all of its humans. There's a war going up there, and I'm not talking about a religious war. I'm talking about there is a war going up there between races. You just
Mm-hmm.
can't see it. As above, so below. I do believe that disclosure is coming, and they're going to be forced. I mean, you hear them releasing classified documents here, there. Just in the past year, they've released a lot of documents. But someone said to me, "Why are they doing this all of a sudden? You know, do they know something we don't? Like, an invasion? I mean, that sure would reunite all of us humans.
Do you think?
An alien
All they have to
invasion."
do is turn on the Wi-Fi on their ships. I posted a cartoon today. They advertised Wi-Fi on the ship, and everybody just walked right in with their phones. But I mean,
Please take me with you.
if you think about it, well, there's a couple of things. I'm going to play devil's advocate right now too. With everything that's going on with the separation, everybody's pretty much done with the fear of the COVID. They're
Right.
sick of it. The back and the forth, the lies, you know, changing of their minds. Fossey and his, changing his mind and looking like this as he's saying it, all that stuff. And who, CDC, just everything that's come out. The pharmaceutical manufacturers, just everything that's come out that's been hidden so far. It wouldn't surprise me if they even stage an alien attack or something because they need to put more fear into us.
I don't think they could pull that off.
I
Humans
bet
aren't
they
that
could.
smart.
I bet they could.
Well, humans are pretty stupid. So, yeah, they're pretty gullible. They might be able to believe that. But the ones like myself who are somewhat educated on that are going to sit there and go, okay, well, let me see.
I'd be like, take me back to my home planet, Zebulon. Take me back. Take me back. I have a student every day. Every day he comes through the line. How are your people? How's Zebulon? It's gonna go supernova on you, And I'm like, it is. He's only like 10 years old. It's a trip. And I'm like, it is. Are you gonna protect it? He says, I already did. So then he came through and did a big scrape on his nose the other day, and he asked how my planet was. I said, I guess it wasn't doing too good based on your nose. It looks like you had to save it again. He goes, I did. It's like,
how cute.
Yeah.
I miss working with kids.
Every day, though, he asks, and the teachers and staff just look at him and look at me, and I'm like, on Zebulon, they're doing great. And I said, today's lunch was teleported in, and he's like, Renee, I know better. I said, you do? He goes, you cooked it right here because I saw you cooking it.
Cute. How adorable.
Yeah, right? So.
Kids say the darndest things, huh?
But he's always wanting to asking. He said he's going to save my planet.
Well, I hope his generation does, because ours is failing.
Robin just said Fossey goes back in the archives of initiation. So it's all been, we just are in a mess. We are in a mess. Everybody's heads are spinning. Nobody knows which way to go. The only thing I can say is ground balance and focus. If you don't ground balance and focus, you're going to be in chaos. You're going to be in total chaos and confusion. You're going to miss so much that's going on around you that you need to see and that you need to know. And it's not even that you have to believe what other people believe that you don't believe. It's just sit back, ground balance and focus. Don't go based off of your emotions all the time. Mm-hmm. Don't go based off of your staunch beliefs all the time. Just sit back and watch. Sit back and observe. And everything will start coming to light.
No, this is very true.
It's going to be hard.
The dragon that we're in is going, it's their wake-up calls for everybody. Wherever this falls by house and sign is a wake-up call. And it is one for the United States and the world at large as well. Unfortunately, I don't see the school shootings and these mass shootings stopping anytime soon. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Someone said to me the other day, how do you, like, I do things like platonic. There's three phases in the method of astrology I do. You have the platonic phase, which is ruled by Pluto, and it's death, drama, rebirth, transformation. The dragon we have, this tail is in that. So it's making those phases 10 times more stronger. Now, I have the benefit of running my software, and I can actually see when that phase is getting ready to hit. But for the general public, the best way I could give you a heads up on that is get a moon map. And when the moon's in Scorpio, stay the hell home. Stay out of crowds. Don't go to political rallies. Don't go protesting anything. Don't even go to your favorite grocery store and shop. Get all that stuff done before that moon goes into Scorpio, because that is it's very deadly plutonic energy. The other energy is the Uranic energy, which is ruled by the planet Uranus. It's shocking, explosive. That's the energy that took those children in Texas, Uvalde, Texas. That was Uranic energy. That was shocking. The grocery store in Buffalo, Plutonic energy. But I was explaining to someone, it doesn't matter right now. It's happening every day. Just that hospital in Tulsa, that poor doctor got shot. I mean, we have a major mental health issue crisis in this country. Um, and I've seen it myself working in the school system as a behavioral specialist, how the administration and the higher ups treat these kids and just brush stuff under the table because it's not worth their time or they don't get paid enough. But what are you doing? You're serving them such a big injustice,
By
And
basically letting the behavior continue and coddling instead of offering immediate consequences.
even in my own business right now, most of the people I've done readings for this year are absolutely lovely, wonderful, beautiful souls. There have been a few that have crossed my path in the last 2 months, and it's like, oh Jesus. It's like literally the energy I could feel was like Jeffrey Dahmer or a Ted Bundy kind of energy. After I got done doing one reading, I told my daughters, I need to go soak in a whole vat of Florida water. Jesus. Because
I'm
the
pretty
energy.
lucky. I'm
You
pretty
what?
lucky.
That's good.
I'm pretty lucky. My clients are pretty top notch. They're
Mine are
awesome.
too. I've gotten
I
a few
love
though.
them,
It's
love them
like,
all, and I've been very fortunate. And they're not your typical clients. A lot of people get the clients about love and romance and when's the new
right.
boyfriend du jour coming in. It's been a month since I've lost the one that was my total world. I'm ready for the next one to come in, that type of a thing. I don't
Right.
get those kind, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my people. My people come to me because they want something solved,
Right.
they want, they want the help, and I appreciate that.
I'm very grateful for mine too. You just sometimes, I was doing really good there. It had been many, many years since I had gotten a client like that.
Hmm.
And that last time I got that, I threw his ass in the freezer. So if you're ever having problems with someone, you can just go to Astro Cafe Astrology, punch in their birthday, print out their astrology chart, fold it up away from you, and put him in water and freeze his ass. That'll cool him down. It'll make them relax. We'll get them if they're all mad. Just throw their ass in the freezer.
We'd need one the size of a county or two. Sorry.
Oh my god, how funny!
Think about it.
I'm looking at your chat. I forgot all about your guys' chat in here. I'm so
You see
sorry.
it. You see it right in the program, right? You see them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I found it. But yeah, let's hope I'm wrong on the election. That's not what I want. So it it might take something, major for people to be at peace with each other.
Right.
Something has to happen on a humanitarian level.
Well, and
That's
this is the whole thing, I do a lot of talking with spirit and saying, what can we do? What can we do? And they're like, nothing, Renee, there's gonna be another major catastrophe. Major,
mm-hmm.
major. And it's gonna be weather related or something. And people are gonna stop doing what they're doing. They're gonna show their compassion. They're gonna help, and then when it's all said and done, they're gonna go right back to the way they were.
Yep.
And and I was just like, come on, there's got to be some way. And they're like, Renee, it's never going to happen.
No, it's true. But like I said, this dragon brings wake up calls, so people are going to learn some hard lessons these next.
Definitely. No, I totally agree. Now, Linda, talk about the astrology that you use. Now, there is the modern way, and then there's the ancient way.
Yes.
And
So,
you use Nostradamus's, correct?
Now, no, I do practice the 16th century Nostradamus method. I'm also I'm certified in his method, and I'm also training right now in the Babylonian method. Now, modern astrology has been practiced since the beginning of the early 20th century. Before that, it was traditional, and traditional didn't focus on the three outer planets: Neptune, Uranus, and oh God, what's the other one? Neptune, Pluto. Oh my God,
Pluto.
Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. But Nostradamus, now he incorporated at least 2 or 3 different methods into his predictions. How he did his predictions, he incorporated the Babylonian method, which uses the dragon energy. In Vedic, they call it Kehu and Ratu. That's the north and south nodes of the moon. All the ancient astrologies focus on the dragon's energies, north and south nodes, and the housing system. Modern astrology focuses more on conjunctions and trines and this, that, and the other. But Nostradamus incorporated draconic astrology, which nobody really practices today. My software does calculate it, and it is very strange and confusing. But he incorporated that Babylonian and even Chinese astrology into his predictions. But he was also a great scryer. People don't realize Nostradamus was a warlock of his time. He scried, he had visions, so he was psychic. He had psychic abilities as well. So that is the type of astrology I do practice, is his method. That doesn't mean I am no modern day Nostradamus in any sense of the way. I'm actually very blessed and humbled to have been taught this knowledge. It actually fell in my lap. I'm writing a book about how I came across this. And it was because of my mom. She was listening to some guy on Coast to Coast. And I'm like, Mom, sometimes those people on there are charlatans. Please don't go giving your money to some crazy astrologer you don't even know. And so then I started looking up this guy, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. And sure enough, some of his predictions started coming true. And I'm like, I have to give credit. As a alchemist, as a metaphysician myself, I have to give credit where credit's due, and say, okay, maybe he's on to something. And I decided to become a student, and I graduated from his school of astrology, Dr. Louis Torrey, if you're familiar with him. And I've been incorporating that into my practice ever since. And I'm telling you, it works. I've seen it. I've seen people lose their lives on their negative days. I won't bring up who, but you know what I'm talking about. I always tell people, don't take those negative days for granted, because you can lose your life. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of the people around you and your element and what you are doing on those days. Just like on your good days, You could meet your soulmate. You can fall in love. You could win the lottery. You can meet your best friend. There's so many possibilities. But you have to know those cosmic biorhythm days, both
Right.
positive and negative, because every human being, 3 days out of the month, you're operating positive. 3 days out of the month, you're operating negative. And that's how Nostradamus did a lot of his predictions. I have a friend up in Sedona. He's a Native American shaman, but he's also an astrologer. He's a modern astrologer. And he and I were talking one day, and he goes, I want you to go and research something since you practice his astrology. And I'm like, okay. He gave me a date. He didn't give me a year, just gave me the date. And he said, if you go and you look at one of Nostradamus's documentaries, I don't know if it's Nostradamus End of Days or the Nostradamus Effect. I can't remember which one. It's one of those two. Nostradamus gives a date of when he doesn't come out and say California is going to have the big one, but he comes out and says there's going to be a Teutonic, some sort of a Teutonic movement, and he puts in code which represents the West Coast. He gives the date of May 11th, but he does not give a year. But he gives a degree. When the sun is 20 degrees in Taurus, there will be a great shaking on the Western hemisphere, Western something. He's giving you so I went and did my research on my ephemeris, and I looked for when Taurus was 20 degrees. Now, he was doing this 550 years ago, so the rotation of the planet has moved up a little bit. So I'm saying by May 11th through the 14th of 2023.
It's coming.
It's going to wipe out California, which is the sixth
largest economy. The whole West Coast.
Yeah. Why do you think I moved to Arizona? People think I'm nuts. Why did you move there? Why are you in the country with all them rednecks and cowboys? I have no problem listening to chickens and cows moo, and I'd much rather hear that than gunshots.
Yep.
Perfectly happy out here.
With everything we've gotten going on, I've been saying for like 4 or 5 years that if there's going to be a terrorist attack, it's going to be internal and it's going to be through our food.
That is a possibility.
And we are seeing it. We are seeing it with the warehouses and facilities that are burning. We're seeing it with the food shortages right now, and we're seeing it with different product recalls that have never been recalled, and you wouldn't think, and the baby formula and everything else. It's all happening. So my recommendation is if people have not started gathering canned goods and non-perishable items, I'm going to say it again, you got to start stocking up now, because you're going to need it with everything we've got coming down. You're going to need it.
Stockpiling water like it's going. You should see all the water I have in my bathroom is turned into a store. I have a fairly large bathroom, master bathroom, so I'm stockpiling water because, you figure I have 5 cats. There's 4 adults in this house, and you're supposed to drink 1 gallon of water per person per pet. Well, geez, that's a lot of water, but you got to start. And I'm probably going to go to Home Depot this week because in this state, they let you do it. My understanding, it's illegal in California, but they sell these. See, here in Arizona, we have monsoon season coming. They have these water collectors that you can put in your yard, and it collects rainwater and you filters, and you can use it for whatever. We're starting to do that here in Arizona. Fingers crossed we get some rain.
A lot of states have made that illegal.
Why? Why is something like collecting rainwater illegal?
Look at all the public water systems and stuff. They're saying that you can't guarantee that it's clean, that it's pure, that it's this, that it's that. And with chemtrails, I guess, of what they're spreading. But
how do you think our ancestors collected water? I mean, in barrels, and they collected it. And I mean,
It's all about the money.
oh,
It's
yes, it is.
all about the money. And if they find your home hooked up on that, they will fine you. They will
I
fine you and they'll send you to jail.
I
I,
believe that. Luckily, I live rurally out here where they don't look for things like that. You know, it's especially with farmland and stuff like that. Farmers collect that stuff to feed their,
I want to be
livestock.
off the grid. I want to be in the mountains.
I don't plan. Well, I see now
For
where I'm
whatever
located.
reason, I'm being kept back. It's been 3 years now.
Really?
3 years that I've been wanting to move and trying to. 3 years.
Well, you're Aries, right? You're gonna have some lucky times. In fact, Jupiter's in Aries. Okay, so you have Jupiter sitting right on you. That's luck.
Well,
Jupiter
bring it.
sits. You got to bring that luck. Jupiter's in Aries, and it's there for about 6 months, and then it jumps back into Pisces, and then on December 20th, it jumps back into Aries for a while. So you've got that energy going for a good while. So you never know. And then the next dragon is in Aries, and everyone who is in Aries is usually blessed because it's riding right on them. The dragon's head is always, remember, the dragon's head, and this is what Nostradamus was trying to explain to people. When you think of the head and the tail, the north and the south nodes of the moon, the north node of the moon is your wheel of fortune. It's where the stars want you to shine. It's your soul's purpose in life. Um, I always tell people I'm doing what I love to do. I love doing astrology readings for people. I love helping people. Lately, I've been doing a lot more children's readings for special needs kids. I've had an onslaught of readings for children, and every kid I've come across is gifted. There's like a sixth sense about a great many special needs kids. They're very
Well, and
intuitive.
they have one foot here and one foot on the other side.
Yeah,
The special needs kids are very, very, very in tune with the other side and a higher level of consciousness that we can't even fathom here.
exactly.
You know,
Yes.
and I see it every day with Maya. I see it every day. I hear it.
Yep.
I hear it. I hear her talking more to my mother and my grandmother. Like anything new she gets, she names
Believe
it
it.
after my grandmother.
I believe it.
She didn't know my grandmother. My grandmother died when I was 17. She didn't know my grandmother. She didn't know her name. But everything, everything, everything new she gets, any stuffed animal, it's named Mary. And then,
Oh,
and she talks to my mother, and I can hear her. And if I'm having a hard time with her, and I just say, "Somebody help me," and all of a sudden, within 30 seconds, I hear her going, "Oh, what you say to me?" And she gasps, and she's like, "I don't want to do that. I told you I don't want to do that." No, I was not being mean. Ah, okay, I sorry. I have to tell mommy I'm sorry. I mean, and she's, when she
that's
had
amazing.
COVID and she was sniffling because she won't blow her nose, and she was sniffling. And my mother,
Oh,
that was the one thing my mother hated, was sniffling. I
oh,
can't help it. Right after she'd do a big sniffle,
oh.
I can't blow my nose. And I knew it was my mother. I knew.
That's precious. No, it's there. It's very true. I used to take care of a little boy, and back in 2017, my aunt passed away. I came back from work, and I had to take him down the hallway to see the psychologist. So I was walking him down. I could hear my aunt calling me. My aunt had already passed, but I could hear her going, Linda, Linda. And I'm going, okay, I'm hearing the dead now. I turn around, there's nobody there. And the little guy that was with me looked at me, and I looked at him, and I go, did you hear that? He goes, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I heard that. I go, oh, good, I'm not going nuts. He could hear it. And I'm going,
Yeah,
it really touched me because I sat there going, number one, I'm not losing my mind.
right.
But number two, I am not a medium. So for me to hear it, it was meant for me to hear her. But
Mhm.
for him to validate it, it's like, Oh my God, he's a little medium. You
I
know?
my hearing is getting worse. It's
Really,
getting worse
mine's my eyes.
as far as my actual physical hearing, but my hearing of the other side is like become even more
In
prevalent.
tune. I guess it happens sometimes as we get older, you know. One sense gets weaker, but another sense gets stronger, you know. It makes sense.
It's so
So,
dark 100 outside, and parents are trying to call their kids in, but they don't do it very nicely.
oh really?
Oh yeah.
We have one of my neighbors across the street is not a very nice man, and a couple of months ago his dog almost got ripped to shreds by a javelina, which is one of those wild pigs. Um, Dog lived, but it wasn't for my neighbor and myself helping him. Did he say thank you? Did he say anything? No. I sat there going, luckily I like dogs. Luckily I love animals.
Right.
Because what an asshole. Some people, you know.
Do you hear this?
The cats.
Those are kids running around after dark.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, we can't, you don't do that out
What was
here. There's
that?
no street lights.
Yeah. I'm doing my live broadcast right now, and it's picking up everything.
Oh, I can hear them now. So I have my Patreon page up, and I
Put
wrote
that in. Put that in the chat room.
okay, let me
Put that in the chat room, and also put your. Do you have a website, Linda?
I do. Let me go and put that in the chat first.
And if you mention it, and you know, go ahead and mention it too. Speak it on the air.
It's astrologywitch.com.
Hmm.
That's my website. Nice. I do more than readings. There's a little store there, so if you need crystals or anything like that, I can provide that. I have a wholesaler in Sedona, so I'm actually rather lucky that way. My Patreon page, I'm gonna let me go to. Bear with me. I'm in it. Hold on.
Robin wants to know what you can do to help compensate and ease some of these transitions. It's pretty interesting, right, Robin? I mean, uh, going from the third dimension up to the fifth dimension is quite um, painful in many ways. And what it does is it really makes you dip into self, right?
Hmm.
Um, and brings out the shadow side of you, brings it forth so you can see it and correct what needs to be corrected. So, on top of the energy, a lot of people are feeling really exhausted and tired. The
Yeah.
solar flares too, with the solar flares, some are getting over energized, and you're finding people can't sleep at night. I'm having that problem. Um, Pains, more pain than normal if you have an injury or you have some sort of a disease or disorder. I'm going to say dis-ease because that's how I speak it. But um, just meditate, Robin. Ground balance, focus. Don't don't feel that the need to take self care is invasive or being rude or disrespectful. I do it a lot. To step back. My summer's coming up, and that's what I do all summer. It's just self care. Focus on me, and what I need to do to just stay sound, mind, body, and spirit. And so, I mean, Just drink lots of water, meditate, grounding exercises, staying out in nature, trying to stay away from as much negativity and drama as possible. I know that you do that. And just work on that shadow side of yourself, and that's pretty much all I can say. There's not much more we can do except for ride out, quote unquote, the storm, right? I mean, and that's what it feels like to a lot of people with their bodies and their mind and everything. Now, the thing in China, they have the lockdown and people cannot leave their homes. People are committing suicide, jumping out of these high windows, floors off the ground because they have no food. They're starving to death. So please, people, stock up. Don't be stupid. Don't be stubborn. Don't. You need to start doing it. You need to start doing it. And Robin was mentioning in the chat room that she has elite shungite, and elite shungite that purifies water. And she has jugs with water in it, and she puts the shungite in to purify the water, and she stores it. Just regular drinking water.
Well, that's a good idea. Get it purified and start storing it. That's a really good idea.
Why spend money on getting bottled water anyway? I mean, you can't trust anything anymore.
Nestle rich. Just the Nestle company gets richer.
Well, that's it. I mean, you can't trust anything anymore. It's the plastic will make you sick. It's this that'll make,
That's true. It is, because there's an expiration date on my waters. And I'm like, how the hell does water expire? Water shouldn't expire. But then someone told me, oh, it's not that. It's the plastic that expires. And then the chemicals from the plastic start seeping into the water. Isn't that nice?
Well, and, take a look at your canned foods. How many years? Hundreds of years, 100 years at least. Canned food never went bad. Now there's expiration date on it because they want people to throw out the food and spend more money.
That's true. It's all a ploy. In fact, I knew a guy who was a pharmacist, and he used to tell me, he goes, there's some medications absolutely you throw away. But because if you have a Tylenol or an Excedrin and it's 3-4 months past its expiration, it's still good. He goes, it doesn't technically, if you see the expiration date on it and it says, say today, it's good 1 more year. But they make you do that so you buy more. And you're right. It's all a big gimmick.
Yep. It is. If it's not dented, cans are dented. If it's not bulging, it's good. A dented can is fine too. It's the bulging at the ends that it's bad.
And there's nothing wrong with dented cans. And then there's companies that you could buy food. Like, I don't remember the name of that company. forpatriots.com.
Yeah.
For Patriot, you can buy all kinds of things. You could buy generators and food that good for 10, 20 years. Yeah,
all you have to do is add water.
Yeah, you could buy things like that. Hold on. My cat is looking at me like, will you turn the water on for me, lady? Let me just turn my sink on for the cat. Here. There. Sorry. I have 5 cats, okay? If you would like, I have my software up.
What was that, sweetheart?
You would like your friend in the chat. I have my software up if she would like me to give her a mini reading.
Robin, go ahead and put your birth date in there. Right? Is that what you need?
Just your date of birth, yep.
Yep. She said I'm dented and seem to be doing okay.
She's good?
Now mine's an interesting one. That when you read mine, you freaked me out too.
I did. I didn't mean. I hope it was a good freak out, not
Well,
a bad one.
what was it? The double tails or double dragon's
Okay,
tail and head?
let me see if you're in here. Hold on. Um,
It had to do with my abilities and stuff.
hold on. I'm looking. I guess you're not in this one. It might be on my other one. I do believe you had a double dragon's tail in Scorpio.
Yeah.
So the tails in the eighth, double tail and double head in the second. And anytime you have a dragon's tail sitting in Scorpio, a lot of people with this placement end up becoming in this life paranormal investigators, mediums that have abilities to speak to the dead. So yes, anytime you're dealing with a dragon's tail in Scorpio, and you have a double one, double energy, it does mean that one of your past lives, you were a witch of some sort. You were
Yep.
probably burned at the stake or hung, which means you were raised. It was you lived sometime somewhere in Europe at the time. Also, that also does create someone who is very in tune with the underworld. My own daughter has that placement, and she is like a magnet for ghosts. And when she was little, she could see them. Once she hit puberty, it kind of stopped. And I told her sometimes that happens, especially with her focusing so much on school. I said, once you get back into meditation, and she said, but I can hear them. I hear them all the time. So the other night when one of our friends passed away, my EVP did not have batteries in it. And so she said, well, something is bugging me and I don't know what it is. So I need to go pull out my dowsing rods. And I said, okay, I don't know how to use them. I bought them for you because she knows how to use them. And her dowsing rods, she was asking all kinds of questions in her room, and those dowsing rods were just going crazy. And so she came back out and she says to me, your friend is okay. It's the exact same thing you said. I never told her that. And I'm going, oh my God, I have a little medium on my hands. She's only 17, but she can feel that energy. Dragon's tail and Scorpio. So past life, and she's Aries as well. So one of her little past lives, she was a witch and is very in tune with the paranormal. She wants to be her goal is to be a paranormal investigator. So
Nice.
she's a fan of Zach Baggins. In fact, last summer we went to Las Vegas. Instead of spending all my monies in the casino, I spent it all on his haunted house. We went on tour that night, flashlight tour. My oldest, I'm not having any of that. And we were all crawling through little crawl spaces in the darkness. She was as happy as a clam in that element. So I'm like, she's natural born. So yes, your stars also show that you have risen from the ashes, like a phoenix.
I am the phoenix.
That's what I see when I see you, the phoenix. So yes. Wow, I'm surprised I can remember all that at 52.
Yeah, I know. What are you talking about?
Sometimes I go into the grocery store and go, what did I come in here for? Oh, shit.
Yeah,
But
well,
I think that's
I don't go into grocery stores. I have them deliver.
Hey, that's a great idea.
I don't even bother because I just can't be around all the different energy right now. Self-preservation.
No, I get it. No, I totally get it. I
And
came out
the
of
way
the
people are
grocery store.
acting, they're like zombies on the road and everything.
I know.
I would rather order the food and, through Instacart or whatever, right from the store, and then Instacart delivers it, and I have it within an hour and a half. I hate shopping.
I know.
So
Yes.
to me, it's worth it.
I'll have to try that because the last time I went to the grocery store, I came home and I said, "People bring out my inner serial killer." I didn't mean that seriously, but I just sat there going, I observed this man being so mean to the teenage checker. I mean, you could tell he was a kid and he was learning, and he's just so
Yep.
mean to him. And I'm like, oh my God, why are you being so mean to that 16-year-old?
Yeah.
You know? And you didn't, it was just unnecessary. Okay. Maybe you had a bad day at work, but you're going to take it out on the poor kid because your coupon expired.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are just mean and nasty.
Yeah.
And um, people who are born with platonic energy, they're the ones, I guarantee you, if I got a hold of that shooter, um, either one, Buffalo or the Uvalde one, I guarantee you, if I looked at those stars, the the complexity of his entire chart is ruled by Pluto. All of us have one planet is the complexity of our chart. Mine's
Mhm.
Mercury. Some people it's Venus. Some people it's Saturn. Sometimes people who have the Saturn ruling are very prone to having more depression than others. But someone with a platonic Pluto ruling their stars, you have to teach them the power
Mhm.
of their mind and the damage that they can do, and teach them the right thing to do instead of the wrong in this energy. Um, it's not. I homeschool my daughter. This is for this very reason. My daughter does not go to high school. She is homeschooled. Um, yeah, it's lonely. She doesn't have too many friends. Her and her sister are like this, though. They're buddies. Luckily, the two girls get along very well. But one of the reasons I did this was because I can look into the future, and I sat there going, next year the dragon moves. It moves into the tail, moves into Scorpio. That's more school shootings. That's more terrorism. That's more death. Uh, Sophia, I think I'm putting you in homeschool. She's happy as can be.
I
Well,
wanted to homeschool my oldest two in the worst way, but you know what? They would have taken advantage of me.
your
They would have
kids?
oh yeah. Oh yeah. They would have run right over me, snowballed me, you name it. The youngest one has so many special needs that she needs the schooling.
Special needs kids do. Yes. They need that
So
constant interaction.
when it came to homeschooling last summer and stuff, and I was home with her and in the spring on and off, I was like, this is not for me. Because again, she, just like they're even bigger manipulators. Especially
Yes.
big kids are
Uh-huh.
the
Oh,
biggest
yes.
manipulators around. And
Mm-hmm.
they know what they're doing. So I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't work with her either. So I just work more
Some
on
kids it
basic
doesn't
living
work
skills
for.
with her because that's what it's got to be is basic living skills, right? I mean,
Well, each state is different. Now, I had before, I moved during COVID. I moved from one state to the other in the heat of COVID in September of 2020. Everything was shut down. I was getting ready to enroll her in mainstream school, and I did. But when she was in school in California, she was in the GATE program, Gifted and Talented Education. She's 4.0. She doesn't get that genius thing from me. I don't know where she got that from. But
stop it.
she's amazing. I'm like, okay. She did one day of school and goes, no. It's boring. It's this, it's that. And I go, okay. So I started doing research. California, I could never do this. I had to jump through hoops.
Hmm.
Here in Arizona, there's a credited, and you have to make sure you put your kid in a credited homeschool program where
Hmm.
she gets the credits to go to college.
They make it
Um,
harder in New York too,
yeah, they make it in
just
California.
like
It's impossible.
California.
Yeah, yeah. So, but here in Arizona, no. She's in a school called Primavera. She does just fine. She just got a thing where they want to, she's got options for scholarships for college. Um, And she likes it because she doesn't have to get up at the crack of dawn to get to school at 8 a.m. She can actually sleep till 8, 8:30, start school at 10, and finish by 4 or 5. She's gotten her rest. So these kids having to go to school at that early in the morning is technically, there's studies that found that it's really not that great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so in this way, she goes at her own pace, and she's on target to graduate next year. But
Same with people who have to get up early to be into work early.
yeah, so not everybody, you know, there's certain states that don't accommodate for that,
Mm-hmm.
but she's doing well. But I know not everyone can do that. See, I work from home and I take care of my mother, so I'm home.
Right.
I can do that. That's not for everybody, and I understand that. But it's scary to be a kid. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
this dragon's energy is hunting for American children. So watch your children like hawks, especially with the sex trafficking. A lot of kids are going to disappear because of it. It's a multi-million billion dollar operation that's being run secretly by our country. And
Not just our country, but yeah.
not exactly, not just our country, it's all over, but it's pretty lucrative industry here. You know,
Yep.
watch your
Just like
kids
the
like
border,
hawks.
just like the border right now is being controlled by the cartel.
Is it?
Yep. I heard that one the other day.
Well, that's just like when we had, what was it, a couple of years ago, when it was under the Trump administration, and we had a lot of kids over there on the border, and a lot of them have disappeared. Now, I'm not insinuating this had anything to do with the Trump administration, but what I'm saying is the government took an opportunity, the secret government. So some of these kids that aren't found, where do you think they went? There's no green card, there's no social security. They're not traceable. They're
They're not
gone.
traceable. They're gone. Mm-hmm.
And that's heartbreaking. But
But a whole bunch of them were found in Texas. 30 of them?
say that again?
30 of them this week were found in Texas.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah,
that's
they found them in Texas. They were in the sex trade. Yep.
see it. I believe
30 of
that.
them. I posted it. I posted it. I think I had pretty certain it was 30. They did a big bust and they rescued 30 kids.
Well, you see, now the elites think they got away with something because when I can't even say this woman's name, Ghislaine
Oh, just
Maxwell.
lame. Yeah.
Ghislaine Maxwell
Lame.
was in court. Nobody's revealing any of the names on that
No,
list.
they're not. And they're
That's
supposed to be, but they're not.
They're not. And so what I'm trying to say here is they think they've gotten away with suppressing and hushing it, but they're not. This
No.
dragon's energy will bring that to the surface. It may not happen today, it may not happen tomorrow, but come September, October, November, December, something's coming.
Oh, yeah.
Something's getting exposed.
There's a lot that's going to be exposed and people are going to be shocked.
It's going to be quite shocking.
On that note, I'm smelling a skunk.
Uh-oh. All righty.
I'm like, it's getting closer and closer and closer. And I do draw wild animals into me, but I'm not
We
feeling
have
it.
them out here too.
Unless it's one of my albino ones.
So
I can pet them like a cat.
Let me leave you with this. Our next day, we have days of caution that come every so often. And of course, I can't find my moon book, so shoot. Anyway.
Well, I must have had one. I must have had one on Tuesday.
What? An unlucky day?
Yes. I woke up. I never heard my alarms. So you're going to love this one. I bawled. And the day just went downhill all day. I couldn't wait to get home and just stay in my home. I got up, woke up without my alarms because I didn't hear them. At the time, I'm supposed to be getting in my car to go to work. That was the first thing. So I got Maya out and did what I had to do and quickly got in my car, did my seatbelt, turned the car on. Now, I rescue feral cats and
Right.
kittens, right? And try to tame them and before they go off to like an SPCA or anything like that. And try to get them used to humans before they get taken away, right?
Right.
I heard this awful scream when I put the car in drive and pulled out of the driveway. One of the feral kittens, about 2.5, 3 months old, must have been on one of my tires.
Oh,
And I just, yeah, devastated. And it went downhill. Oh, it like went downhill. But that was the worst of it. I mean, because I wasn't that late for work. I mean, I really hightailed it. But that, yeah. Oh, I was just so heartbroken. Me who saves animals and rescues them and I will never forget that scream. A scream. It was just
oh,
awful.
Renee.
Yeah.
That's well.
So they had to be that was one of my unlucky days on Tuesday.
Well, the next days of caution to the world are going to be the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th.
Seriously?
The 10th, 11th, and the 12th.
Of
Yes.
June? I'm gonna be at a horror film event.
Well, just be well. Just be aware of the energy. I mean, a horror film is a little bit different than being out in a protest or
Oh
in
yeah,
a,
no.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, that's a little different. Just stay out of large crowds, you know.
At a
But
film festival.
that's the next window of chaos and destruction coming for the United States and the world at large, you know.
We'll be at a film festival working in Pittsburgh.
All right. Well, you should be okay. It's a film festival. Um, it's not like right now it's more of the political atmosphere is what's dangerous to go to. Like my kids wanted to go to some Roe versus Wade march, and I'm like, not this weekend.
No.
Hell no. I'm all for my own rights too. I get it.
Okay, so here's my thing. Here's my theory on all of this, and tell me what you think about it, right? I
Okay.
get it. I get it. I am not pro-abortion. It's not for me. I'm not one to say how other people should be. That's their right. But if you want to talk about my rights, my body, Linda, think about this. Think about where it starts. Where does it start? A woman goes into her doctor at 25 years old and says, I want to have my tubes tied, or I want to have a hysterectomy. And what's the doctor say?
No.
You're too young. They say no.
Mm-hmm.
They won't do it. Who tells them not to do it? The government. Right? So if you want to talk about my rights, my body, we can save a lot on abortions if women actually went to the actual cause of who's saying no when they want to have the tubal ligation or if they want to have a hysterectomy because they know they don't want to have kids. Some people just know at an early age. And doctors will
You're right.
refuse to do it because of age, and you have to have at least one kid.
Well,
That's my thought on that. Is that they need to really go and because
this is a race issue. The white man race is declining. Okay,
it
has everything to do with the keeping the white race in power. The white race is declining. Less and less white people are having children. You could see that. Just Google it, and you'll see the statistics. So this is a way of the government not losing that control. Now, I know that there's been a lot of people of color that have been sterilized. It's happening still on our indigenous land, with our murdered and indigenous women that are murdered. If they're not murdered, they're sterilizing them. They're doing that on purpose because they don't want the minority races to grow in population. Right. They want the white race to grow. Now, I'm pro-choice. That doesn't mean, I know people who are stupid that don't get on the pill and they just keep getting knocked up and getting knocked up and getting knocked up. I know someone who used to do that, and the irony of it was after she got pregnant with twins and had to have it, the doctor was like, I am not giving you any more abortions. The Almighty sometimes has a funny sense of humor, doesn't he? I was telling my mom that, Mom, listen, she got twins.
Well, that's the whole thing. I mean,
but it is
what makes me sick about it. That's really what makes me sick about it, is that you know what causes it, but yet, go ahead and end it, because of course every soul that comes into a body is there for a reason. It was sent.
Right.
And it just, but it's not for me, and I don't judge people.
I don't.
But I feel frustrated, and I feel mad for those who are continually abusing it. Abusing it without taking the precaution to begin with.
And I can guarantee the ones that are continually abusing it are the rich white elitists. They're the ones that are continually abusing it. It's not the poor black woman in Alabama, or the Mexican lady living in East LA. It's those people, and I.
Well, and I don't know about you, Linda. I've had clients that have had them, and it messes them up for life, mentally, emotionally. Maybe not initially, but down the road, it affects them. And
it depends on the individual. I really do. If you go into it indoctrinated with religion, you're fucked in the head. That you are being indoctrinated. But if you go into it with science, you take it a little differently. It just depends on the way a person thinks. And even in the stars, a person is programmed by their stars to have more of a conservative viewpoint or a liberal viewpoint on it. It's their stars. But to sit there and deny someone the right to have an abortion, I see it in the same as making mass mandatory. Okay?
Right.
You want mass mandatory, but you want what you did is, though, it's like a double-edged sword. You're taking away one freedom of one sector of people, but denying another person their rights. It all falls under those rights. It all depends on how you see it. I
look at, though, they need to go back to the beginning of being told no, because the doctor is telling them no. Because if you have that done, or if you have a hysterectomy, chances are you're not going to go to the doctor as often. Pharmaceutical companies lose money if you get a hysterectomy or tie your tubes, because they're losing money on birth control. True. They're losing money on whatever else, might come along that lines of being female or male. And then the government is the one pulling the strings and saying, no, you can't. And I really think that my body, my choice should go back and properly and appropriately choose one speaker to go and speak for everybody, or two people that aren't going to get outraged.
I don't think any man should be speaking on my behalf. Stay the hell out of my vagina.
Right.
I will make my own choices. Right. I think everyone, it once again, it's separation of church and state. You cannot, that's the whole reason this country was erected, was for freedom of their religion. And what's happening is people's religious viewpoints are being brought into politics, and there's no separation of church and state. However, I do think that this Roe versus Wade link was strategically planned, very strategically
Yes,
planned.
it was. It was
And
an
could,
intentional leak. Whether that's what they believe or not, it was an
right.
intentional leak to
It was
cause
an
another
intentional.
distraction.
Mhm.
Yes, to cause another distraction.
It could either that or to put a nail in the coffin of the GOP. Because if, even Republican women get abortions. And, do I think the extremity of if a child was raped or a mother has an
Oh my
ectopic,
God, yes, please do.
uh,
Right? I mean that.
that's
I
insane.
agree. I
Okay, I mean,
agree.
some of these laws that are so draconian. The laws are so draconian that
Hmm.
it's like, I'm sorry, but if a child is brutally raped, she should not have to go through. A 13-year-old is not developed to carry a child
Hmm.
at all. If a woman has an ectopic pregnancy, well, the baby's already dead. There is no chance for life. But let's
Correct.
rip the mothers too. I mean, there's just some of the things don't make any sense. And my mom and I have this discussion because I'm pro-choice and she's pro-life, and she and I can sit and have an intelligent debate about it.
Hmm.
But what I think people forget is we're all reincarnated. One of my past lives, I wasn't white. I was a woman of color.
Hmm.
I've seen it. I've flashed back to it. I've had my past life regressions. I know what I was in a past life. What people don't what people are forgetting is that you have to learn those lessons. And like I said, the dragon's head is where you're to shine. The tail is where we like to sit and feel comfortable. Most
Hmm.
90% of the people in this world are residing on their tail because they've done it before. It's a past life incantation. They're comfortable there. We've done it before. Why progress forward?
Right.
Um, I'm getting ready to do this for myself. I'm getting ready to create classes and I'm getting ready to teach people ancient astrology completely out of my comfort zone. I'm petrified, but
You're gonna do awesome though.
my stars are calling for me to
Yeah,
do
you're
it.
gonna
And
do
I'm
awesome.
putting it off and putting it off. And it's funny, it was that actress Jamie Lee Curtis that changed my mind. She said, I have so many things I want to do at 60 something. If not now, when?
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, she's right. I'm not now, then when? When?
Hmm.
So I just got to get out of my comfort zone and do it. But what we all need to do is, like you said, be like more like Libra energy and have balance and harmony.
Hmm. When you have
But
it within you, then it's easier to have it around you.
pardon me.
When you have it within you, it's easier
Yeah,
to have it around you.
I agree. I
Because
agree.
then at that point, you have control over your emotions and your thoughts and your reactions and your actions and your words.
Right.
So that's why I say when you focus on yourself, work on yourself, like right now, Robin, that's a lot, the shadow self. And that all falls into the shadow self, right? I mean, if you think about it, the emotions and how we act and react and all that too. So,
Shadow work is some of the most intense work a human being can do for themselves. It's liberating, but it's
mhm.
also heartbreaking
Oh,
because
it's
you
very
have
hard.
to deal with your past life traumas, and
Yep.
it can be incredibly difficult, but it's also incredibly sobering sometimes.
Hmm.
um, like even for myself, I would sit back and say, why did that one comment that individual said to me? Why did that trigger me? What
Hmm.
created that trigger in me? And
Hmm.
working backwards from that, I'm realizing it was from my childhood,
Hmm.
being dismissed all the time.
Hmm.
And no, you have nothing important to say. Children should be seen and not heard. So it's those are those triggers from childhood. That was my last adventure in my shadow work.
Nice, nice. I'm watching an inchworm pace. Have you ever seen an inchworm pace?
It glows.
It's
Does it glow?
pacing. No, it's pacing though.
Is it? Oh, you mean a real inchworm?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. But you
yeah.
meant
No, it's been
the
on
little
the railing, pacing back and forth. It's an impatient inchworm,
Ah.
but it's pacing like right in front of me. So I need to look that up. I need to look up the inchworm and see what it signifies because it's been right in my face practically.
Inchworm.
Mm-hmm.
My computer's acting funny.
And then it stands up and it looks at me, and it goes down, and then it keeps going, and it'll turn around again. It'll come back. It'll hop its head up,
Mm-hmm.
and look at me, and then it'll carry on. Interesting. All right. Well, the skunk smell is gone. That's a good thing.
Good.
But I am getting cold, and I love having you on, and I'm so grateful.
My temper's getting cold anyway.
I know. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah,
It's still sunlight out here.
You're 2 hours behind me now, right? Not 3.
I'm 3.
You are still 3.
I'm 6. It's 6:54 here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, it's 9:54.
In the winter time, I'm only 2.
Okay.
Arizona is one of the states that doesn't do daylight savings, so I'm never falling behind or moving forward. My time never changes. Everyone else does.
Nice. That's so nice.
I love it. I don't miss daylight savings time. You can have it.
It's awful. Awful. All right, love.
All right. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Plug your website one more time.
astrologywitch.com, and I put up my Patreon page as well. Same thing, Astrology Witch on Patreon. I post if you're into just the stars. The mother package is the $5 one is what you want. If you want more about magic and astrology, the crown package for $10. And I do run specials where get a whole year for half the price. So I am pretty good about running specials every now and then. So check it out. It gives you all your days of cautions, your red lights, your green lights, where to go, where not to go, and all the other stuff, full forecasts, all that stuff, and all kinds of interesting little articles about the stars. So we'll take good care of you.
And she's on TikTok. Check her out on TikTok.
Yes, I'm on TikTok too as Astro_Strega, STREGA. But that's quite a shit show, TikTok.
Oh,
God.
Why are they doing that? Like,
ignorant.
It's awful.
Because you know why? And a couple of witches got mad at me, and I'll end it at this. Because there's only 1% of the world that possesses cosmic consciousness. And I guarantee you, there's only maybe a few witches in the community that have it. Just like there's a few mediums that have it, and not everyone possesses this. And even in the witch community, they don't possess cosmic consciousness. So they're not vibrating on that higher level. They're vibrating on a lower level. Yep. Not 5D.
Not the 5D. Give me the 5D any day.
Oh, anyway. Be safe. Stay warm. I had a blast. And once I might do my radio show on, I'll have to have you on YouTube one day.
Oh, please. I'd love it.
Yes.
I would love it.
Have a great week.
I love you. I will talk to you later.
Ciao. Be
safe. Thank you, everybody, for
joining.
You too. Be safe, honey. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.